Welcome to another edition of the Business and Personal Podcast, where we bring you closer to the people you do business with or share stories with the people you do business with. And excited today to have Patricia Porta and Ricky Jones on with us. They're both patients for Powell Orthotics and Prosthetics out of Richmond, Virginia. Both unique stories, but amazing stories about what Powell's done for them to change their lives. So first of all, Patricia and Ricky, thanks for joining me today.
Yes, thank you.
So, we talked offline, so I kind of already know your stories, but I want to share them with the rest of our audience. So we'll start with you, Patricia. Just kind of tell us about how you found Powell and what they were able to do for you.
Sure. So we moved here to Virginia about 11 years ago, and from New Jersey. And I had a prosthetist up in New Jersey that I was dealing with. But obviously, when we relocated, I needed to find somebody new. And I was working with a company that I wasn't satisfied with at all. And my husband, who is in medical sales, was at a medical sales meeting and had walked around to the various booths and stumbled upon Powell Orthotics and Prosthetics, and came home with their business card and said, hey, you should give them a try. And I have no regrets. I've been with them for about 9 years, and they have just been wonderful on so many levels.
And you had mentioned to me how you're an avid exerciser, and they fit you with something that gives you more flexibility and able to do the things you want to do in that regard, right?
Yeah. So what they were very helpful with is, so I have a left-hand myoelectric prosthesis that I wear every day, all day, to help me do my activities of daily living and all the things we do in a day. And I'm an avid exerciser, so I did have a different hand to exercise, but it wasn't so comfortable. Had a lot of problems with the sweat that would collect in it. So Powell showed me a new exercise hand and socket that was much more favorable and much more durable. And it had a very flexible hand that helped me do some static stretches, helped me do some simple weightlifting, my balance, that type of thing. And that has been extremely helpful and has worked great.
Ricky, you weren't even able to walk before you met with Powell. So just to kind of explain the amazing transition they've been able to make for you.
Yes, sir. Actually, before I actually visited Powell, it was another company here that tried to work with me, but it wasn't successful. I was in a chair for 5 years. I was told I wouldn't be able to walk. But after going in, meeting with, Mr. Sullivan at Powell, he just said, after taking a look at what was taking place for me, he just said, you're gonna be all right, and I'd never understood it. I didn't see it to where I am now, being able to walk. I'm thankful that I was referred to him because actually a friend of mine has a prosthetic. And asked her what I was going through at the time, because I wasn't able to walk, but I would do transfers. But even with that, it was painful, and no one could really understand why it was that way. Well, I also have a brain injury. Well, due to other things, it was just like, well, is this like something he's just kind of going through, or is it no? So when I met Joe, he actually had me to go back in and have x-rays to be taken, and come to find out the rod that was in my femur actually had gotten broke as well. And they had something going through there, and it actually had come through the bone. And from there, it's just been a pretty good process with what he's been able to do with his company over there.
And you also talked about the experience with family, when you're around family and whatnot. It's just so much more enjoyable. You're able to do so much more now than ever before.
Yeah, exactly. I have, mobility where I didn't see actually existing. I have a grandson that lives with us, and just being able to, move about, be there for him. He's been out with me, doing different things, coming in and out the house, just being able to, walk, some stairs, help with bringing, groceries in. It's just a plus. just to be upright. Again, when I got started with this, because I'm actually above the knee amputee, Joe fitted me as well with the aquatic prosthetic to take a lot of the pressure off. But along with having this, of course, it takes work. You have to work at it. You believe in yourself, believe in the prosthesis. They've been doing it. Joe's been doing it for, a long time. He's very passionate. Actually, he has a prosthetic himself. So it's like, he's I think it's a USA volleyball coach or something as well and just like hearing his stories and just the faith that he have, and me being in with my family also just took to Joe, and everyone felt like, it was a good fit, even though at the time I didn't see it. I couldn't understand it because I was in a bad place. And actually, with what Joe seen in me, I just say, I don't understand it. What did you see in me, man? But, we here. I'm up, I'm moving about, and I'm grateful for it.
Patricia, when I hear both of you talk, it seems like you're just actually part of the family there. You're not even customers or patients or anything. It's like you're an extension of the family. Don't you feel that as well?
Yeah, so I have to say, so I work with Michael, and he's extremely attentive. He understands the immediacy of me being able to have my prosthesis function daily because, I need it to cut up food or to, excuse me, go grocery shopping, walk the dog, the laundry, all the things, you do in a day. So if ever I have a problem, he tries really hard to get me in like that day, the next day, right away. He even goes so far as if I have broken parts of my hand that need to be replaced, if he has spare parts lying around, he'll put them in my prosthesis so that I can borrow it and go about my business until he gets the new pieces in. And that's been fantastic. And while I don't work with Joe, Joe is very personable. I can remember being there for the first time Joe came in and introduced himself, and he shared with me about his passion for volleyball and how he's played and he coaches. And then fast forward 5 years or so, my son began to play volleyball, and we ran into Joe at a tournament, and I never thought for a minute Joe would even know who I was. And for sure, he sure did. He came right over, he said hello, and he was so kind. And he's helped me with my prosthesis when Michael wasn't available with a very simple task that had to be fixed. And even when I go in the office now, 9 years later, Joe will come in and say hello, and very personable. They really care about who you are as a human and to get you fully functioning in your environment so that you can live, your best life every day. It's phenomenal.
Awesome. Awesome to hear all of that. And that's one of the main reasons that we're doing this podcast is, there's a lot of people out there that were in your situations that had a prosthesis that maybe didn't feel right, but you just kind of lived with it, or, didn't have one at all, or just weren't working with the right company, but ultimately you ended up with Powell, and you got that personal one-on-one service that makes all the difference. So, we'll start with you, Ricky. Just advice you have that's the beauty of the internet. Someone might be searching and they come across this podcast, looking for a prosthetist in that area. So if someone's still listening, that means, they're very interested in getting help from Powell. So again, we'll start with you, Ricky. What's your advice to someone out there that is listening to this?
Me, again, the relationship that I have with, Powell, it's wonderful. I just want to share this right quick, because actually, this past weekend while we were on it, I ended up at church and ran into another client of Joe's. They was kind of in question about some things in regard to their prosthetic. And being that I have Joe's number, I sent him a message, and just, I don't know, within 30 minutes or so, he responded back with just getting them into the office. He want to make sure they're good. And I just thought that was amazing, because I just, man, I'm sorry to, reach out to you on a Sunday like this, but the person was there, just was in some questions about some things, but I just know how passionate Joe is, and just kind of and I just think it's a great thing. So the thing with this, it's a big community out there when it gets to the prosthetics, and so it's just we feed off of each other, and having someone that's there that's going to be attentive, that's going to meet the needs. you have to pay attention to what's being said to you. Things you have to work on what you have, because it gets you there. And I'm just like, with all that I've gone through, mentally and like physically, I'm just grateful, because even though we don't see or understand certain things, we're not going to, but you have to have faith in what the possibilities are. And for what I didn't, they have, and I'm just very grateful for it. And I know if anyone that has a prosthetic, if they are working towards, using it and wanting better, it's going to work itself. I know everyone's situation is different, but it makes it different when you have someone that's honestly, passionate about what they're doing and want to see you do well, rather than just passing you by. And for that, I'm forever grateful for that.
And what about you, Patricia? Just final advice for people that are listening.
Yeah, Ricky, you said this earlier, perseverance. Perseverance is the key. And if you're not happy with your current prosthetic needs and services, I encourage you to give Powell a call. They are phenomenal. And not only are Joe and Michael phenomenal, the front desk staff is just as wonderful, getting back to you right away, following up with you. I can't say enough about them. It's just overall a very wonderful experience in what can be a very trying time, as Ricky alluded to.
Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate both of you joining me here today to get this message out there. If there's even one person out there that happens to listen to this, that they're able to help, is well worth our time. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.